shoes. But he never gave up hope. And also one day, he became a prime minister of Egypt. Patience in affliction is one of the ways God grows our passion. And the last one is faithful in prayer. The third element in how we develop spiritual passion, fervor, is being faithful in prayer. The level of spirituality in this community, in this congregation, in this church here will be at the level of our prayer life. How much time do you spend talking and listening to God? How do you keep love alive in a relationship? There is only one condition: communication. You can keep love on if you communicate. And all those counselors will tell you, communicate, communicate, communicate. Without communication, misunderstanding arises, doubts enter, wrong ideas intrude. Prayer is talking to God as you talk to your best friend. Prayer is expressing your frustration, your fears, as well as your hopes. Listening on one of King David's prayers. Look at this. My God, why have you forsaken me? Have you ever prayed this prayer in your life? Well, we know that someone prayed this prayer. Who was that? That was Jesus on the cross. And Jesus was not afraid to pray this prayer. Why are you so far from helping me, from the words of my groaning? Why you are so far? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, by night, but find no rest. Here is David being open, challenging God, telling him exactly how he feels, and God takes it on the chin. God does not tell him off for how he feels. Too often we were taught to pray by thanking God for all our blessings, but what do we do if we feel like we have no blessings? We are struck, or we feel like a hypocrite in a mountain just words. God says, be open. I know how you feel anyway. So pour out yourself. Complain if you want to, just like you may complain to a friend. Do you have this intimacy with God, that you can pour out your soul into Him? Being faithful in prayer means getting rid of all our wrong ideas about prayer. Go to God as you are. Tell Him exactly how you feel. Do this every day and several times a day. In fact, the Bible is telling us that our prayer must be constant. Come together in a church where people pray to be encouraged. Learn to be open in those prayer times. We need each other. How often you are coming to this place in the middle of the week to pray, to have a relationship with God, passionate relationship with God, to become a more passionate church, to develop a greater intimacy with God comes with a deepening conversation with God. Prayer is very simple. There is no formula to use with God. Just tell Him all about what is going on in your life. And then, listen, I realize that very often I'm telling God blah, 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 and then I'm locking my door because I'm in rush to my work. I don't have time to listen to Him. And He would like to tell me something. Just imagine that you are talking to your husband and you say blah, 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 and shut the door. And there is no communication, there is no time for listening for him. Come to the church for the prayer meeting and talk to God. The strength of this church is not in our individual prayers, but also in our community prayer. We began with the experience of Elijah. We wonder if we could ever reach that level of intimacy with God, when we could say something and it would instantly happen. But we also learned that Elijah had to pray 7 times before the rain came. So there are different situations in our spiritual life. There are instant situations, but there are sometimes a situation when you have to pray and pray and pray and pray. At the end, it's only a little cloud in the size of Hannah's man. The Bible tells us that Elijah was really not different than any one of us today. And I would like to close with this beautiful statement from James, chapter 5:17. Elijah was a man just like us. He prayed earnestly that it would not rain, and it didn't rain on the land for 3.5 years. Again he prayed, and the heavens gave rain, and the earth produced its crops. Elijah was a man just like you. Oh friends, I love this text. Because sometimes we feel that, well, we will never be like he. He was the same person as I. He even experienced the depression. And he even had suicidal thoughts in his mind. Elijah was a man just like us. Take comfort from this fact, and we can be like Elijah, full of faith and intimate with God. That's a beautiful hymn. Number 456. My God and I. Just think this beautiful hymn and think about this relationship, a passionate relationship which you have with your God. Hymn number 450.